Hello, welcome to the video. So today I am here with my September edition of TBR Bakery. If this is the first video you've ever seen from me, or if you've never watched TBR Bakery before, it is just my TBR game based on my real life profession. I do manage a bakery as my full-time job in real life. So I just kind of modeled this game around a bakery theme. It consists of donuts, cupcakes, and cake slices, and we just move along the board and pick out books for the prompts that we get. So if you want more in-depth rules or anything, I will put the playlist up above so you can check out some of those videos. The first video, as well as I believe January of this year, I went over more in-depth rules and like a look at the board and stuff. So if you're interested in that, again, it will be linked up here. But for now, let's just get right into the video. So before we play for this month, we need to go over what I read last month. I had 3 books that I do not own physically in my little stack. That was the Treat Your Shelf card. I had The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore. I did read that. I had a sci-fi. I picked The Cybernetic Tea Shop by Elizabeth Katz. I had that on ebook and I did read that. And I had Resurrect a Series, and for that one I picked The Shadow Rising by Robert Jordan. It is book 4 in the Wheel of Time. And I made a little bit of progress on that, but I haven't finished it yet. I had A Step Past Darkness for a thriller. I haven't read that yet. I had Five Broken Blades for a new release. I haven't yet read that. I had The Ashes in the Star-Cursed King for a book over 400 pages. I've made a little bit of progress in this, but I haven't finished it yet. I had The Flight Attendant for an Unhaul Project book. I did read that. I had Britt Marie Was Here for a book set outside the US, and one of you guys told me that I should read, like, you don't have to, but it would be good to read My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry first. Sorry? Am I Canadian now? My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry by Frederick Bachman before I read Britt Marie Was Here, and I am about halfway through that. So I haven't touched Britt Marie, but I did read half of the replacement so far, and I will finish it before the end of the month. And I had Alana for the end spot, which was a spinner wheel, and it was next in series. In that video, I said that I needed to read In the Hand of the Goddess, but I had already read this one. So instead I read The Woman Who Rides Like a Man, and I did finish that. So overall, I would say I did not do too bad in August. I did a lot of reading. I read a lot of decently good books. I didn't read anything that I absolutely hated in August, so that was good. And I do have a few days left to finish off some of the things that I'm kind of in the middle of. Now, without further ado, let's move on to September. Okay, full transparency here. I did take Spinner Wheel out of the end spot because I have gotten it 3 months in a row, so just, again, full transparency, that's not in the running. All right, roll 1. Is a 3. 1, 2, 3. We have a donut. A book that's on my TBR cart. Roll 1 got me a donut, and it was a TBR cart book. And I have a clip showing you what is on my TBR cart, so I will insert that here. So I'm sorry if you can hear something in the background. My husband got a 3D printer and he is currently printing something in here. So I'm sorry if that's kind of loud. Okay, so my TBR cart right now, I don't have a lot of choice because the top shelf is books that are on my August TBR and like current reads, and then the bottom shelf is literally just full of junk right now. There's no books on the bottom shelf, which means we only have this middle shelf, and I am currently working on this, so that's not a viable option. I don't necessarily want to pick this because it's Magical Readathon, so that's going to be my priority, so I don't necessarily want to put a 1,000+ page book on there. Absolutely not Gardens of the Moon. The Fifth Season is an option. Being Sloane Jacobs is an option. The Appeal by John Grisham is an option. The Way of Shadows and Empress, I'm not feeling these, so I'm gonna say no to these 2 as well. I have A Midsummer Night's Dream by Shakespeare, Le Petit Prince, which is the French edition. Like, it's in French, so I would have to read it in French, and my French is quite rusty at this point, I feel like, so it's deceptively small. It would actually probably take me a while to read. I mean, although it's pretty basic French, so maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. And then just All Around the Town by Mary Higgins Clark. I read a Mary Higgins Clark within the past few years and I didn't really love it, so I don't know about that one. And then back here I have Almost to Die For and Taken by Storm. So those are also options. I'm gonna have to think about this for a minute. And I ended up going with A Midsummer Night's Dream. I was so close to picking Le Petit Prince, but then I looked at it, like I read a couple pages, or not even pages, let's be honest, my French is so rusty. I read like a couple of sentences and I was like, yeah, this is more effort than I'm willing to put in this month. So instead, I went with A Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare. This is, in fact, my absolute 100% favorite Shakespeare play. I have read this multiple times and I love it every single time. Fun fact, I was actually in the stage crew for my middle school production of, or I guess it was junior high. My town is so small that they were kind of the same. They were all in the same building. My school's junior high production of A Midsummer Night's Dream. Roll 2 is a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another donut. Ooh, go to coffee break. Awesome. Love that movement for the second roll. Roll 3 is a 2. 1, 2. Another donut. Am I gonna get all donuts this month? A fantasy. That's super easy. Roll 2 got us another donut and it sent us to a coffee break. So I didn't have to pick a book for that. So yay. And then roll 3 got us yet another donut and it was a fantasy. So this one was super easy. My goal with this TBR was to get as many of my Magical Readathon books on it as possible because Magical Readathon is going to be my focus in September. So I wanted to overlap as many of the books as possible to give me the best chance of finishing both TBRs. So for fantasy, I am going to choose Godkiller by Hannah Kaner. I don't really know much about this book except for the fact that people have been reading it and people have been seeming to enjoy it. So I will give you more of a synopsis in my wrap up. If I read it. I hope I read it because again, it's for Magical Readathon, so. But basically what I can gather from a quick read of the synopsis is we're following our main character Kissin, and her family was killed by a bunch of religious zealots, so she has made it her kind of mission in life to just kill all the gods that she can. So I'm super excited to read that. It's something that's been on my radar for a while, and again, I picked it for Magical Readathon, so it slotted in perfectly here. Roll 4 is a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are you kidding me? A coffee break. I have 2 books so far. And roll 5. A 6. I cannot believe this. 1, 2, and we're at the end, and our end spot is This or That, higher or lower with a D20, and I literally have 3 books on this TBR. Roll 4 got us another coffee break. I don't understand how nice this game was being to me this month, but I am not going to complain because then roll 5 got us to our end spot, and it was a This or That, higher or lower with a D20, so I will insert that here. Okay, so we have our books. Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren is going to be my lower option. I wouldn't mind reading this, but it is not on my Magical Readathon TBR, and I'm trying to get as many Magical Readathon TBR books on this TBR as possible. So this one is my lower option. And then Falling Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes is my higher option because this is on my Magical Readathon TBR. So I would like to double up. So essentially that's what we're doing here. Okay, and I have my D20. That was not the throw. I have my D20 here. So let's get our base number. 4. Okay, well, this is looking great because I just have to get higher than a 4 and I get to read Falling Kingdoms. So anything but a 1, 2, or 3, or 4, I guess. A 20! All right, I am going to be reading Falling Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. And for that, I was able to put another book from my Magical Readathon TBR on the list, and that is Falling Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. This is a young adult fantasy. I don't know too much about it, but it says treacherous betrayals, the secret alliances, unforeseen murders, and forbidden love. Sounds fun. I've heard that this series starts off strong and gets like worse as it goes along, which is a little disappointing if I end up really liking this book, but we're gonna give it a try. I owned it, so I needed it for falling, like I needed a verb in the title, so falling is a verb. So yeah, that's my choice for that one. And I literally have, I only own 2 of them, but I have 3 books on this TBR. We'll put this one in there as like a stand-in. I have 3 books on this TBR, that's it. This game has never been this nice to me, except for that one month that I accidentally played with 2 dice and I couldn't figure out why it was so nice to me. This time I legitimately can't figure out why it was so nice to me, but I think it heard that I was really wanting to do Magical Readathon and like finish my TBR this time for Magical Readathon. That's the only thing I can think of why it was so nice to me. But like I said, I'm not gonna complain. I will take it where I can get it, and yeah, so that is it. As for the other stuff, I usually participate in 3 kind of reading challenges. One of them is Adventure in Eldia, which is Magical Readathon, so we didn't have a prompt for that this month, but I did put up my TBR before this one, so I will link that up above if you want to check out my TBR for the autumn equinox of Magical Readathon. The next is TBR Knockout, and I haven't really been doing great staying on track with this one. The past couple of months, I feel like I haven't even really picked books for it. So for September, the theme is leaves, and the 2 prompts are leaves on the cover and set in nature, and I don't necessarily have anything for either of those right now. I guess technically this is kind of set in nature, right? Because it takes place in the woods. So maybe we'll say that. And leaves on the cover. There's what appears to be trees, so maybe that counts. So we're gonna say this is leaves on the cover, and this is set in nature. So hey, look, I just figured that out like in 2 seconds on camera. Perfect. And for Genreathon, which is the last one of these reading challenges, it's hosted by Whitney over at Tibra's Den, and she picks like a different genre or genre adjacent, she calls it, which I think is really cute, prompt for each month. And this month, September, is her birthday month, so she picked Age is Just a Number, and it's to read a children's middle grade or YA book. And for this one, I'm just going to finish out a series. I don't know why the sticker is on here. And read Lioness Rampant by Tamora Pierce, which is the 4th and final book in the Alana Quartet, which is what I call it, but it's actually called the Song of the Lioness Quartet. Yes, there is a pig sticker that says Sarah on it. I don't know why. Things happen. But I love this series. I have read the other 3 books recently, and I'm excited to finish it off again. I don't know, like I haven't read these editions. Obviously, Spines Are Unbroken, but I don't know how many times I've read this series, and I just love it so much. I've said it before, I think I actually said it last month in my TBR, but it is just one of my favorite series. It's been a favorite since I was a kid, and I'm really enjoying my reread. So this is what I will choose for Genreathon. So with that, that is my entire TBR for the month of September. Well, plus I put it up there earlier, my Magical Readathon TBR, which is a total of 6 books, 2 of which are on this TBR, so I was able to double up. So that is perfect. I am super excited for September. I love fall. It is already starting to cool down around where I live. I say that, but then like yesterday and today it's in the 80s, but like last week it was in the low 70s and it was beautiful. I had all the fall vibes. Like I wanted to burn fall candles and put out pumpkins and like do all the things. At my store that I work at a grocery store. So I manage a bakery and a grocery store. But the florist department got all of their mums. So like all out front of the store is just full of mums. And it is like immaculate fall vibes. I'm so excited for fall. So that will do it for this TBR. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you're planning to read in September, and let me know if you're participating in Magical Readathon and like what kind of books you went for, especially if you have any of the same prompts as me. I would love to see different takes on them. That's gonna do it. I hope you have a great month in September. I hope you get a lot of reading done, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!